Alt-R.
Hi, it's Dr. Robinson, and today we're going to go over how you make graphs for inequalities, equations, whatever it is. When you take math classes, the teacher is going to require you to sketch a graph of the system. Well, I've got a
6.5 notes. Docs.
right now. This is a student's work. This is what I'm actually teaching him. Anytime you go into any graphing work, there's always going to be a lot of objects in it. And what I will tell you is the object of the graph that's there for the sighted students, go ahead and take a pencil and draw it. If they're on their computer, they'll just use the software in order to draw it in. It doesn't do our students any good. So what they're going to do is go to Desmos graphing calculator. They're going to graph this out. They're going to paste the graph within the work. If they are new to this, they of course need to learn how to do graphing themselves. The para or transcriber or person, sighted person, will teach him or her that by getting corkboard, rubber boards, pens, anything that you need in order to create graphs. And they need to learn how to do this personally themselves. Once they learn and understand X and Y and all the graphing, then they can, of course, just emboss this out for themselves and quickly feel it, totally understand it. And then they understand every graph that they're doing. And a lot of students get to the point where they don't even need to emboss it because they totally understand what they're hearing. So I'm an example one. Let's go up and listen.
Land coordinate plane map. Show me image example 1. Sketch a graph of the system.
Okay. So what I'm going to tell you is we need to get rid of the objects first, because once the student pastes the image within this document, that image of that object is going to cover it up. So I'm going to Control-Shift-O to go into my objects in order to get rid of all of them in my document.
Inline objects dialog. List 1, list view. Shape 2.62 inches wide.
I'm just going to start at the very top. It's going to tell me I have 5 objects. So I need to go ahead and hit enter, and I'm going to hit delete to get rid of it. And then I'm going to just bring it up again and just continue all the way through. Here we go. Enter to it and then delete.
Enter. Picture 2.625 inches wide. Blank. Page 2.
Control-Shift-O.
Inline objects dialog. List 1, list view. Enter. Land coordinate plane map. Show me 2.E.
Control-Shift-O.
Inline objects dialog. List enter. Land coordinate plane map. Show me 2E.
Delete. Control-Shift-O.
Inline objects dialog. List 1, list view. Enter. 6.5 notes. Docs. Page 2. Blank. Page 2.
Control-Shift-O.
Inline objects dialog. List 1, list view. Land coordinate. Enter. Land coordinate plane map. Show me blank. Page 2.
Perfect. Now I'm just gonna, you're always gonna be at the end of your document. You can do a find command for example 1 or whatever, or you can just very quickly up arrow and get back to it.
Page blank, 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 blank. Blank, 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 blank. Math exam blank.
After I think about it, find command probably would have been a lot faster.
Example 1, sketch a graph of the system. Math content 2 cases. Case 1, y less than or equal to 2x minus 3. Case 2, y greater than or equal to negative 2x plus 2.
Beautiful. Okay, so it's just reading really fantastically. There's and of course my cursor is directly on it using my braille display. I'm going to just hit home to get to the start of my math equation.
Home, y math content.
Okay.
Yankee.
And I'm going to go ahead and shift right arrow to select this equation. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to Alt Tab to Desmos, and I'm going to paste this in. Here we go.
Y, select less than or 2, select X, select minus, select 3, selected.
And Control C to copy.
Copied. Zoom, screen, zoom, Desmos graphing calculator, personal Microsoft, Edge, Desmos graphing calculator, expression list region, expression 1 edit, blank, type in text.
Okay, Control V.
Pasted.
Okay, and at this point, you can go ahead and Alt T and go ahead and trace it. H, of course, does the whole trace, and JAWS will tell you all of this. Alt T.
Alt T, Desmos graphing calculator, graph paper, x-axis visible from negative 10 to 10, y-axis visible from negative 6.033 to 6.033. Grid lines are visible. 1 audio traceable curve, graph paper, audio trace on. Use arrow keys to navigate. To hear the graph, press H. To disable audio trace, press Alt T.
So I'm going to hush them up. So once again, once the students learn how to graph the Y and the X and whether it's shaded or not or dotted, and of course there are ways to do all of that using the Desmos graphing calculator, which is really great. There's keyboard commands for absolutely everything. So I'm just going to hit H and just to trace it quickly.
H.
Beautiful. Okay, I am going to tell you after you completely do this whole graph, you will want that keypad to go away, and I'll show you that in a second. So I'm going to go ahead and Alt Tab. Actually, I'm going to Control Alt E to get back up and hit Enter. So I actually have my edit box ready to go. So Control Alt E.
Alt Control E, blank, type in text, audio trace off.
And on your brow display, and of course you can just left arrow
3.
and feel from your brow display exactly where you are in your math. Okay, and I'm going to hit enter.
Enter, expression to edit, blank, type in text.
So my expression 2 is there. If I lose focus of that, I'll just Control Alt E to get back to it. Let's Alt Tab and go get my next formula.
6.5 notes, docs word. To move to an item, press the arrow keys. 6.5 notes, docs word, edit.
Down arrow.
Math content 2 cases. Case 1 y less than or equal to 2x minus 3. Case 2 y greater than or equal to negative 2x plus 2.
I'm going to hit home.
Home, math content.
Once again, shift right arrow.
Selected, end equation, select end equation, end equation, selected. End equation, select end equation, selected.
And I am going to tell you every once in a while, it just will continuously say end equation. That's the reason why, when you're at the end, you want to understand what your equation is. And you get better at this. Anyway, Control C to copy.
Copied.
And Alt Tab back.
Desmos graphing calculator personal Microsoft.
Control V to paste.
Pasted.
Beautiful. And of course I can Alt T and I can H and do all of that again. I want to make my keypad go away, so I'm going to do Alt K. Sometimes it works the first time, sometimes it doesn't.
Alt K, keypad hidden.
And this time it did. So once again, you don't give up on it if your command doesn't work right off the bat. At this point, I'm going to do Alt Print Screen to make a beautiful copy of this.
Alt Print Screen.
I'm going to Alt Tab back to my work.
6.5 notes, docs word. To move to an item, press the arrow keys. 6. Blank.
And to my blank, I'm going to Control V.
Pasted.
Okay. Now, typically, and I would always tell students this, it comes in very large. So once again, when you Control Shift O, it's actually going to tell you how large it is. And get that down to about 3 inches. A teacher can see this very easily. Control Shift O.
Inline objects dialog. List 1, list view. A screenshot of a graph description automatically generated 7.5 inches wide by 4.1 inches high. 1 of 1. To move to items, use the arrow.
That is pretty large, 7.5. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this down to something smaller. Otherwise, you are going to have a lot of pages of work.
Enter. A screenshot of a graph description automatically. Application.
Applications,
1 of 3. Remove the selection and put it on the clipboard so you can paste it somewhere. Z. Leaving menus. Cancel button to activate. Press space bar.
Okay, so a blind person totally understands, what 7.5 by 4 inches is. So you always want to go to your absolute values when you're in size. I'm going to Alt E. You can tab around. Tabbing takes a long time. Alt E is absolute value for height. Alt B is absolute value for width. You'll learn all this as you tab around. And listen to JAWS. I'm going to go ahead and Alt E.
Alt E, absolute radio button checked. To change the selection, press up or down. Absolute height, edit combo, 4.1 to set the value.
So this is the small one. I always tell students, go to the large one and adjust that down to where you want it first.
Absolute radio, absolute width, edit combo, 7.5 to set the value.
And I'm going to say 3.5, so it gets it down to something large, more decent. Now, since there's 3 inches between that, maybe I'll go for 4, and then that will get it down to a little over 2. So I'm going to just go ahead and hit 4. Shift tab back.
Absolute radio button to change. Absolute height, edit combo, 2.19 to set the value. Use the arrow keys or type the value. Computer Braille.
And I'm going to go ahead and hit enter.
Enter. A screenshot of a graph description automatically generated. Graphic.
Perfect.
A screenshot of a
and
in line with text. In line with text. In line with 6 escape. 6.5 notes. Docs.
And you can go ahead and alt text that. That's applications key A for alt text, and you go ahead and type that in. So that reads perfectly. Okay, so that's how a blind student or screen reader user is going to go ahead and do these beautiful sketches. Now let's go ahead and go back to Desmos and let's emboss this off. So I'm going to Alt Tab back.
Desmos graphing calculator personal Microsoft.
First thing you need to do is Control Alt G, and you need to get rid of the small lines. You absolutely must adjust the graph. Otherwise, when you emboss it out, it's going to be by 2, 2, 4, 6, 8. And we want it to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is how you go about doing that. Control Alt G.
Alt Control G. Desmos graphing calculator. Graph settings. Controls region. Graph settings.
I'm just going to hush him up because I already know where I want to go. As soon as you do the command, you're going to tab through. You're going to hear everything. We're going to get rid of the minor grid lines. And then we're going to adjust the x-axis and the y-axis. It has to be around 7. I've played around with this where the default is, where it's going to go from 1, 2, 3 to 2, 4, 6. You can play around with it. You might have a bigger embosser and everything else, but this is in general what works for students. Let's go ahead and tab through.
Display size, reverse contrast, Braille mode checkbox, grid checkbox check, Cartesian grid, polar grid top, arrows checkbox, axis numbers checkbox, minor grid lines checkbox check, to clear check space not check.
Uncheck it.
X-axis checkbox check, to clear check, label edit, blank, place, X-axis minimum.
And you can label it, but what's really nice, now I'm using a View Plus Technologies embosser and Tiger Designer, and it will automatically put Y in there for the students and X. And of course, Tiger software is very friendly. Anyway, I heard -10, way too big. I'm going to do -7.
Dash 7, 7.
Tab,
X-axis maximum 10 edit blank.
too
Type in
big.
text. 7.
7. Keep going.
X-axis step. Y-axis checkbox check.
Yep.
Label edit blank.
Nope.
Y-axis minimum -6.033 edit blank. Dash 7,
-7.
7.
Tab.
Y-axis maximum 6.033 edit 7.
Okay. And at that point, I'm going to go ahead and escape.
Escape. Graph settings button menu. Press space to act.
Okay, another option you can use if you don't want to use all the commands, because of course there's a command for absolutely everything that you do in Desmos. You can also insert F5 and just about everything there that you want is there. So you don't, if you forget a command, I'm gonna go ahead and use insert F5 so you can see that.
Select the form field dialog. List 1, list view. Open graph control O button 1 of 22. To move.
What's also nice is you have the expressions there, y is less than or equal to 2x minus 3 has graph to auto trace, and it tells you, gives you all the details. But right now, what I want to do is share. I'm going to go to the share button and I'm going to tab to export because JAWS is going to talk over top of me. So now you can listen for what I'm doing. S to share.
S save but S share button 4 of 20. Enter. Share button menu. Press space to activate them. Enter. Expanded.
Enter and
Link to this
open.
graph edit. HTTPS W.
Tab.
Copy button. Print link. Export image link.
Yep. Enter.
Enter. Export your graph dialog. File format button. Collapse task pop-up list box. To activate, press enter. Enter. Drop down options list with 4 items. PNG, SVG, Braille, Nemeth, 3 of 4. To
Down
move to an
now
item, press
to
the arrow keys.
Braille and Nemeth. I'm going to hit enter on that.
Enter. File format button. Collapse task pop-up list box. To activate,
Tab.
press enter. Size button. Collapse task pop-up list box. To activate, press enter.
So by default, the embossers that you have connected to your computer are automatically going to come up. And I have a View Plus embosser. I do not have I do have 8.5 paper, but I use 11.5 by 11 paper. I want a larger graph, as most students do. So I'm going to hit enter and down arrow to 11.5.
Enter. Drop down options list with VP Max 11.5 x 11 and enter. Size button. Collapse task pop-up list.
I'm going to go ahead and tab to download PNG.
Accessibility. Download PNG button to enter. Desmos graphing calculator document. Downloading Desmos graph.
I'm going to Control J quickly.
Control J. Downloads dialog. Recent downloads. Open button to activate. Press enter.
Enter to open.
Enter. Downloading 1 files. 100% complete. Downloads completed. Photo.
Okay, so this automatically opens in my photo editor. If you save it, you're going to go to Windows E, go to D for downloads in your file explorer and open it that way. But I just find this much quicker. So what I'm going to do is Control E so I can actually get a large image of this in order to copy it and paste it into Tiger Designer. There's a lot of different ways to do it. This is just how I do it. Control E.
Control E. Back button to activate. Press space bar. Desmos graph 5.
So it changes it from a 1x1 picture and to a 6x6. So I'm going to tab 6 times until I hear drop, blah, 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 blah. I just know it's 6 times because I count out everything.
MS Apps Web. Reset button unavailable. Press enter for more. Cancel button. Drag the image or use the arrow keys to move image and crop region. Dimension is 230 by 220 pixels. Drag. Copied. Success icon. Copied
Control
to clipboard.
C to copy. Now I'm going to open Tiger Designer.
Search box edit. Type in T-I-G. View plus Tiger Designer app. Press
Yep,
right to switch
enter.
screen tig. Enter. Tiger Designer.
Okay, as in any program, you need to do Control N for a new document. And of course, I'm going to paste it in. Control N.
Control N. New document dialog. Page size. Page width edit. 11.50. Type in text.
Confirmation on what I want here. Enter.
Enter. Tiger Designer document.
Paste.
Pasted. Bitmap properties dialog. Brightness edit 0. Type in text. Alt plus
Okay,
B.
so you got the bitmap properties. I actually want to tab to contrast. And then there's apply patterns, which is even better. I'm going to go ahead and tab
Brightness up down select contrast edit 0. Type in text dash.
-44. And I could go ahead and do Alt A to apply patterns. That's a whole other lesson. And what's nice about the apply patterns, instead of these all being little dots, you can change it to circles. You can change it to bricks. You can adjust all the different patterns in here. So the student will be able to feel what is overlay of the 2 shadows and what goes to the first formula, what goes to the second formula. So that is a whole other lesson in that. Right now, I'm just changing the contrast because I want the student to be able to easily feel the lines. Once again, the student can do this all by themselves. Okay, enter.
44. Enter. Tiger Designer document.
Okay, and at this point, all I have to do is Control P.
Print dialog. Printer combo box. APH fixed left.
And there is my embosser. I hit enter and it embosses it out. So I'm going to hit escape on this so you can, if you're visual, you can clearly see the Y and the X, and of course 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Escape. Tiger Designer.
The single numerical order of all your numbers on Y and X. So the blind student rips this off. Of course, they can orient it very, very quickly, and of course feel this graph and understand exactly what they just pasted into their math. Okay, that is how you go from the work that the teacher sends you, an accessible Word document using the Word Math Editor. The student can output using a braille display or the keyboard. The braille display is much, much faster doing the math. And then go to Desmos Graphing Calculator, graph the graphs that need to be graphed, and paste the information in there. And that is how you fluidly and easily get the work done very quickly. And of course, once you get those commands down, these students can really whip with that. Okay, thanks, and hope that helped.
Zoom. Alt Q. End meeting for all. Enter.